Hi and welcome to our channel. My name is Veronica and in this video we are going to learn a super easy way to make music from scratch without loops or pre-arranged tools. In the next 2 minutes you will learn how to arrange the rhythmic part of your composition, and by the end of this video you are going to be able to arrange a whole tune without the need to know music to do it. So composing music can be considered a manner to organize sounds in a way we find pleasant, and this organization follows certain rules. Now we are going to define the beat. The beat can be considered the basic unit of time and what we do when we clap our hands while listening to a song. In music we can find beats organized in different levels. At each level, the time between beats can be shorter or longer, as the beats themselves can be shorter or longer. So when producing your own music, you need to consider how are you going to arrange these beats. So these beats are organized between bars. I'm going to show you what I mean. This is a bar. And these are the elements inside the bar. These beats are organized into groups, and this is why we see bars in a score, and these bars determine how many beats are in each group. How do I know how many elements do I have between bars? Everything is because of this number here. This number is going to tell me everything. I could choose between different numbers, but we're going to learn today about this one. The number above will tell you how many beats do you have. In this case, you will have 4 beats. And these beats are stressed, the first and the third one. And the second number will tell you how these beats are related to each other. In this case is 2 per 1. So you have per 1 longer beat, you have 2 shorter beats. Now I'm going to show you how this works in your project. The basic beat is the one I told you. You clap when you listen to music, this one. I'm going to have 4 of these lines inside the bar, so with this as my base, the other sounds I'm going to use are going to have 2-to-1 relation with the bass beat. If I want longer beats, I'm going to add beats like this one, and if I want shorter beats, I'm going to add beats like these ones. See what I'm doing here. For each ground I have 2 shorters. For each longer beat I have 2 grounds. I already did this here, so I would like you to hear now how this is going to sound. I already have selected a drum set. I have browsed the sounds and selected these ones because I like the most. I selected a drum set so you can see all the sounds and how they relate to each other, but you can do different tracks for each level. So this is going to sound boring, but now we're going to add some movement. For this part, we consider what I told you before about the sounds and how they are stressed. we're going back to the blackboard. Remember what I told you first about the first and the third one. These are the stronger ones. So if I'm removing some of these beats and leaving others, I'm going to have some movement in my composition. So for example, if I want the bass to be the stronger one, I'm going to remove the second and fourth sound. And I'm going to select the second from the longer beat, and I want just to add some movement in the shorter beats. So I want this to be the more weak part of the beat. Okay, so this has some movement already. So you can play with the stress and how is organizing the composition. Okay, so I add some movement already, and I would like you to hear this movement and how that can work in your composition. Okay, so it would be the rhythmic part. So melody. Melody is a group of musical tones or notes that are assembled together in a piece of music. And so you need to consider this when you're thinking about melody. There's two easy ways, I think, to create melody. You can select only the white keys on the keyboard or just the black keys on the keyboard. It's a major decision here whether you choose option 1 or 2. You need to stay in black or white keys. And to create the melody, it's important that you add just one note at a time. I selected option 1 and played something very simple in the keyboard, but you can use the same process we used before with the rhythm and just play it with levels to create a melody. The idea is you can mix the levels, it's just in one line. I will show you now my melody. As you can hear, it's a very simple melody, and I did it in my keyboard, but you can use the same process as the one we use for the rhythmic part of the composition. So for example, we can take this one from our rhythm, going to copy it and paste it in the melody. So I just going to move around this a little bit. And also I told you that I was selecting just white keys, so I'm going to go to a white key. So now we're going to hear the result of just me scrambling around with some notes. Okay. If you want to upgrade your melody part, you can just add another instrument. For example, I have a flute here. Just copy your melody and paste it in the other instrument. So just copying and pasting the same melody in another instrument works very well. You need to consider the type of instruments you are using. I'm using a flute, and it's a high-pitched instrument, so I think it's not going to work well with a melody in C3. You can see C3 here. So I think going to just select the whole thing and just going to move the whole melody to C4. So I have, this is E. I'm going to the next E. And now I think that's better for the flute. As you can hear, it's the same melody we heard before, not just move it a little bit. So now I'm going to hear the two melodies together. Okay. If you want to have several notes play at the same time, creating something more complex, you will need some basic concepts about harmony. Harmony is the sound of two or more notes played at the same time. And to do this, we need to know some rules. I will give you some quick tips about how to use harmony to enhance your composition. If you are going to use option 2, remember in the melody black notes, you can combine them in any way you want, no need to understand harmony. The downside of this approach is that you will be a little limited. If you go for option 1, the one I use, using just white keys, you need to know the name of the sound you have selected and its possible combinations. So, for example, my melody was starting with E. So for this particular note, the notes C and G work really well. So I would be combining or mixing these three notes very often. So if you're going to use C, you should combine it with E and G. The other thing you can do is just to count to 5 and to 8. So you take your note, the note you want to mix with others. For example, we can take my E note and just count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Always counting from the white notes. The other thing you can do is just counting. Count to 5 or count to 8. you're going to start with your white note. I'm talking about white notes from the keyboard, not black ones, just white ones. So I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. And I can combine this one with this one. And I can count to 8 too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can combine it with this one too. You can do this with any key, any white key of the keyboard. Just count to 5 and count to 8. Are you going to have a good combination for your harmony? So if you're adding another instrument or use a guitar or a piano, you can mix these 3 notes. You just need to count from your C and go up 5 to 8, or just mix C with E and G. Now let's hear how this sounds. Structure is a very important part of your composition. It's about how the different sections of a piece of music are positioned together. This part could be the first thing you do, or you can think about your tone structure while you're doing it. So I personally do both because it depends on what are you doing this for. So for example, if I'm going to create a background music for a game, I will think in advance that I may need to loop the music. So my structure is going to be based on that. There are several ideas about structure, what works best, and what kind of structure is better for each type of music. So I just will show you what I've done here. As you can see, I decided to start with 2 instruments and add more later. I also have created 2 separate melodies. We will call this a question and the other one the answer. So I decided that what I wanted to do was start very simple and add more elements later. Now I need to decide if I want to create another melody or take this idea and create more complexity. Thanks. If you think about music as information, how much information do you want to give your listener? How much information do you want to share, and how this information is given? Are you going to repeat it? Are you going to add more things? Are you going to keep it simple? It's up to you. Hope this has been useful. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment and check our channel for more music related content. And subscribe so we can make more videos. Bye! refers to other things. Okay. So melody. So I'm going to. So we need to. So we need. And the third one is stressed, but is less stressed than the first one. If that makes any sense.